There is an idea in Jewish thought called a chazakah, from the word strong or firm. A chazakah is something which has been firmly established, having already taken place 3 times. Once something happens 3 times, we have a presumption that it will continue to happen. One of the sources for this idea comes from our Parsha, Parshat Mikeitz. It's discussed in the Talmud, Tractate Chulin, Daf Tzadi Hey Amud Bet, page 95b. Tanya, it was taught in a Braita. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar Omer, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar says, Bayit Tinok V'isha, regarding 3 things: building a house, the birth of a child, and marriage. Af al pi she'ein nachash, although there is no divination from these things, yesh siman, there is an omen. What does this mean? That in 3 categories of life, regarding building a house, or your children, or your marriage or relationships, you can never absolutely predict the future based on the past, but you might be able, there might be an omen, yesh siman. If you've had a set of bad instances, you've made a series of poor business decisions or something relating to these 3 categories, you can't absolutely predict what will happen based on the past, but maybe you should make a new decision in the future in order to avert the type of incidents that's befallen you in the past. So what's the proof text for this? Amar Rabbi Elazar. Rabbi Elazar says, V'hu de'itchazek tlata zimne. First of all, he says, it's only true, you can only say that there's an omen if it's happened to you 3 times previously. How do we know that? Dichtiv, it is written in our Parsha, Parshat Mikeitz, Yosef einenu v'Shimon einenu v'et Binyamin tikachu. This is from the narrative where the children of Jacob have returned home from their trip to Egypt, where they went to bring back food because there was a famine in the land of Canaan. And Joseph, who the brothers don't know is Joseph at that point, has taken one of the brothers, Shimon, as a hostage, and he says, don't come back here until you bring your other brother, Binyamin. The brothers go back and tell their father Jacob this, and Jacob, he can't believe it. He says, Joseph, my son, is gone. Shimon now is gone. And you want to take Benjamin from me as well? Says Rabbi Elazar, this is a proof that 3 times is a bad omen, because Jacob is saying, Shimon is gone, Joseph is gone, and you want to take Benjamin from me. That's 3. That's a bad omen. Very interesting idea, that this could be a source for the notion of chazakah, that bad things here come in 3. And as we said, 3, this is all having to do with his children. He doesn't want to risk it. He says, therefore don't take Benjamin. So now let's turn to the commentary of the Torah Temimah on this verse and on this midrash. Says the Torah Temimah. Perush Rashi. Rashi, in his commentary on this midrash, says, Yosef einenu v'Shimon einenu hare shtayim. So Joseph is gone and Shimon is gone. That's 2. Ve'im et Binyamin tikachu miyad alai hayu kulana. And if you were to take Benjamin, that would be number 3. And from then forward, I would lose all of my kids. That's the implication of what Jacob is saying, according to the Midrash. Ve'eno mevoar, says the Torah Temimah, I don't understand, doesn't make sense. Daha. Hagamara rotza laviraya dehechadit chazek tlat zimne az siman hula pama revi'i lasot olech. The Gemara seems to say that Jacob is referring to the fact that 3 bad things have already happened. But what are those 3 bad things? From our verse and Rashi's understanding of our verse through the Midrash here, what are the 3 bad things? Joseph, Shimon, and Benjamin, the fact that they might want to take Benjamin. But that hasn't happened yet. So I don't understand. What are the 3 bad things? It's almost as if Jacob is saying Joseph and Shimon are gone, And if you were to take Benjamin, that would be a chazaka, and therefore I'm worried about everything after that in the future. But that doesn't seem to be the implication of the Gemara. The Gemara seems to say there's already a chazaka of 3, such that Jacob is assuming something bad would happen to Benjamin. Benjamin would be the 4th. Were they to take Binyamin, that would be the 4th. But Rashi is saying no. Would they to take Binyamin, that would be the 3rd, and then the problem would be after that. Torah Temimah says, what's happening here? I don't understand. So he says, really, ha'emet ha'pshuta ve'habrura, what's the clear and obvious truth? It only makes sense if you see another version of this midrash elsewhere. So there's another version of it in the Yerushalmi, the Talmud Yerushalmi, Tractate Shabbat, chapter 6, Halacha Bet, where it says there, very similar to here, but he quotes a different set of negative circumstances that have happened to Jacob. What are they? V'ani bevoi mipadan aram meta alai Rachel. Jacob says, what are the 3 things that have happened to me poorly in my life? Number 1, my wife Rachel died when we were on the way from leaving Padan Aram. And then, like our midrash that we cited, Yosef einenu v'Shimon einenu. So this really solves everything. If you see this other version of the midrash, Jacob cites 3 things which have already happened which have already happened. 1, his wife Rachel died on the way from Padan Aram near Ephrat. Number 2, Joseph was taken. And number 3, now Shimon was taken. And as such, he believes there is a bad omen. It's happened 3 times. There's a chazakah that his loved ones are taken from him. He is firmly established that there is danger on the road for those that Jacob loves. So he doesn't want to let Benjamin go on the way. Ata bepam harivi'i. Now this would be the 4th time. Ukamo barur hadavar, and so therefore it must be clearly true. And then he uses that to explain the continuation of the narrative in the next verse. This explains very well the rest of the story. She'amar Yaakov, because Jacob is going to say in the next line that he doesn't want Benjamin to go, Vikarahu ason baderech, lest something bad happen to him on the way. And which specifically on the way. And the Torah Temimah says, "Be'emet lefi pshuto mekevan shahalchu b'sayara ein kan sakanat derachim." He says it doesn't really make sense because we know that Benjamin would have been going with a caravan with protection. It doesn't seemingly nothing bad would happen to him on the way. But ella hakavana sheYaakov chashav lo et derech lemaora shel sakana. Note that for Jacob, every person that he's lost in his life happened while traveling. Rachel died on the road. Joseph died while going to check on his brothers. Shimon is now taken hostage while they went to Egypt. So Jacob has he has a chazakah. It's been firmly established that whenever a loved one goes on the way, travels in some way, something bad happens to them. It all happened on the way. That's why he says he's worried that something bad would happen to Benjamin on the way. B'derech dafka, specifically on the way. Even though it's true, it doesn't seem like Benjamin there'd be a reason to assume something bad would happen to him. It's enough for Jacob already. He has a chazakah 3 times. He's not going to trust it for a 4th time. A very fascinating instance of the idea of chazakah. Once something has happened 3 times, we assume it will happen again. Jacob here learning it from the various loved ones in his life, and the Torah Temimah noting that we can only fully understand this with the other version of this midrash in the Yerushalmi, as opposed to the one in the Bavli in Masechet Chulin, which we led off with, where it only seems like there's only been two examples, and at least how Rashi understands it, which the Torah Temimah does not like, and we're grateful to him for showing us that other Gemara. Always a pleasure learning with you. Until next week.